are back on the Pontiac 9.3. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. I forgot to turn the camera on. It was getting late and I was trying to get some progress made on it. Let me get that out of the way. I still got to do some cleaning, but it's a lot cleaner than it was. This is the first time out of the tank. I gotta spray it down some more, and I gotta get a wire brush and get up in there and clean out the nooks and crannies and clean out in here where the bearings go. But like I said, I'm getting ahead of myself. I already knocked the bearings and all out of it, obviously. I did film that. And now I gotta get the housing out here. And as you can see, that old red oxide coating's still on this thing. So that tells you how bad that stuff is. Next step, I gotta get the bearing races out. I gotta get the bottom one out, then the top one. If you notice, I've got it sitting on a couple of pieces of wood, not just on the steel of the engine stand. That's because you don't want to shock the cast iron housing against the steel. You can set it up on a workbench and do it, but since I got the hole for it to fall out the bottom this way, I'm going to go ahead. I got to knock the bottom one out down here, then we'll turn the case over and we'll knock this back one out. And it's just like putting wheel bearings in a car. Just take your long punch, drift, whatever you want to call it, get down there, and I'm going to go ahead and knock the bearing out. And that'll take the seal with it, and there we go. Seal's out. And then just walk your way around, and be careful not to damage the housing. Alright, we want to salvage that race, because we're going to use it. We'll use this race to drive the new one in, press the new one in. Now we turn the housing over. Grab my cell phone here and make some light. You look down in here, and you can see that lip right there. That's what we're going to use to tap it out. And I'm just going to repeat the same process again. So a little tip and trick for the evening. Sorry about my voice, it's a little scratchy today, but whenever I'm constantly doing a particular type of differential, or any bearing application for that matter, where I have to press on and press off a bearing for setup, I'll sacrifice a bearing. I'll take it and trim it out a little bit. In this case, at lunch real quick, I jumped on the lathe, cut it out about 5/1000 so it'll pop on and off. The bearing will still give you all the information you need. However, you'll be able to pull it on and off by hand so you don't mess up your shims or mess up your other pieces while you're mocking up your rear end, because you don't have all that pressing involved. Now once you get your clearances tight and all that, then go ahead and press your real bearing on. But what this does is saves your real bearing, so you don't have the risk of damaging it repeatedly pressing it on and off. Now usually most applications you only have to do it 2 or 3 times, but still, if you can only do it 1 time, then that's 2 less times of something happening. The downside in this case is like a $45 bearing. This bearing also fits 12-bolt GM, I believe it is, and some Dana's. So it's not like I won't be able to use it for other things, because it's not really good for using as a bearing once you do this to it. It's strictly a mock-up tool. So I've already cleaned it good in here. All I got to do now is put the bearings in. Put the races in, I should say. So I'm going to leave the bearings packed up until we're ready to use them. So let's see if I even have that was the biggest race driver I got, and it's smaller than that. Okay, so this is why it's always good to save your old races. I'll wipe this off, and we'll use the old race to put the new race in. Now you can do it like this, Or if you have the driver, you can put it in the press and press it in. I don't have one to fit it, so I'll just do it this way. And technically, I could put it in the press and press this in. So I still got a good inch to go. So just got to be careful that when I get down to the point that this is tightening up in there, and you notice I'm moving around as I'm doing this. It keeps it going down flat. I got about a ½ inch to go. And I'm getting into the part where I need to turn this bearing race over. So it doesn't get stuck. I got a little bit more to go. See, now I went and stuck it. It took about 5 minutes to get the drive race out. Now I'm moving forward. Now you'll hear it ring. Okay, so that means the new race is all the way down against the third member, and that's why it's ringing. So, reason we turn this race over is so we can lay the pumpkin back down. Very carefully reach in here with the hammer and the punch. And drive the old race back out without damaging the new race. Can stand it back up. Our oiling hole is clear. I don't know if you can see it in the shot there. Can I zoom in on it a little? The oil hole is clear. I just put the plug in here. We'll do that last. Let me zoom back out. Now I got to do the inside one. And I want to do the same thing I just did. I want to reach in here and wipe it and make sure there hasn't been any surface rust or anything, and it looks like I got a little bit. So we'll get a little on a rag and we'll give it a wipe. There we go. Alright. Now just another quick little tip, something I've learned over the years. Wheel bearings, axle bearings, pinion bearings, rear end bearings, any bearings. Always compare them before you put them in. Saves you a lot of headache. That way if the bearing is wrong or if it's packaged wrong, whatever, you have recourse. Once you drive it in, it's yours. So now I got to brace this up, which I need a piece of 2x4. I'm not ready to put this on the stand yet. And we'll get that bearing driven in there. Another thing you can do to drive these bearings, and I've seen some people do this over the years, is a piece of all thread, 2 plates, and a bolt, or a nut, and you just turn it and let the threads pull it in. I've seen it done that way, but the trick there is to start it first. Maybe we'll do that in an upcoming differential build. Alright, so let's get started. So we got the race sitting in here. I know it's pretty well centered. Now I'm going to turn around and take my hammer handle and start it with the hammer handle. And you'll know when you bottom it out because you'll hear the tone change and it'll ring. I'm getting deeper down in there than I can control the swing, so I'm going to pick it up a 1/2 inch with that little plate. And we're almost down. There we go. Hear that little ring. I don't know if the camera picked it up good or not. So what I'm feeling for is a gap between the race and the housing. And I don't feel one. Now, we're going to set this in here. We're going to hit it one more time. That sounded better. Okay, so now we take the housing out, we clean it one more time, we wash it down, and this part's ready to go together. So now I can set up the pinion. This is why it's always good to have 2 different size hammers when you're working on stuff. I got a big ball peen and a little ball peen. Well, a 16 ounce, and I believe this one's a 24. Yeah, 24. This one, my Blue Point's a 16, and this old Craftsman's a 24. So now it's time to set the pinion up. So let me get this out of the way. As always, practice your skills, learn a new one. Either way, turn them into craftsmanship. You never know how far they'll take you. So until next time, this has been Fab Race Mod Repeat. Have a great day.